The story begins with a man named Ryan, a popular pilot admired for his impressive height and professionalism. Ryan works for a renowned airline and his social media following continues to grow, further boosting his fame. This popularity has led to frequent television interviews, making him a household name. Not only that, many airlines have shown interest in recruiting Ryan, making him a sought-after figure in the aviation industry. As a result, Ryan has become a mascot for his airline, earning admiration from juniors like Marcus, a young pilot who looks up to him as a senior. Ryan often shares his philosophy that as a pilot, what they need to do is fly well, no matter where the location is. One evening during a company dinner with colleagues, Ryan carelessly responded to comments from a drunk senior. His remarks, which objectified the appearance of flight attendants, were deemed inappropriate and quickly went viral. Overnight, his once brilliant career came crashing down. No airline would hire him, and he was blacklisted across the industry. To make matters worse, his wife decided to file for divorce. It turned out she had long been contemplating this decision, and the scandal presented the perfect opportunity. After that, Ryan moved back in with his mother and his younger sister Jenny, a makeup content creator. Both his mother and sister were unsurprised by the divorce, knowing Ryan had failed to make his wife happy. One day, Ryan attended an interview at Han Airlines. At that moment, he competed with other pilot candidates, including a woman named Sophie, who had studied in the United States before returning, and was determined to pursue her dream of becoming a pilot. Additionally, her firm stance against marriage and having children to prioritize her career impressed Diana, the airline director. This left Ryan feeling inadequate, and despite his background as an Air Force graduate, he was rejected for the position. Later, Ryan ran into Marcus, who informed him that many airlines were now favoring female pilots due to the scandal Ryan had caused. Struggling with no income and mounting expenses, including a year's worth of financial support for his ex-wife, Ryan grew desperate. With no other options, Ryan decided to apply for a pilot position under his sister's name. Upon learning about Ryan's plan, Jenny laughed in disbelief, calling it a crime. She argued that being a pilot was not the only job in the world. However, Ryan defended himself, explaining the high cost of living he had to cover, including the mortgage for the house they both lived in. Eventually, Jenny reluctantly agreed to his outrageous scheme. To help Ryan transform, Jenny used her makeup skills to give him a more feminine appearance. Initially, she suggested plastic surgery, but they did not have enough money. They also bought new undergarments suitable for his disguise. The final touch was a pair of fake breasts to make the transformation more convincing. After fitting the prosthetics, Jenny took Ryan to a waxing salon to ensure his appearance as a woman was flawless. As a result, Ryan had to shave off all his body hair. Soon after, Ryan, now posing as Jamie, attended a job interview at Han Airlines. In the waiting room, he naturally sat with his legs apart, unintentionally revealing his undergarments despite wearing a skirt. Realizing his mistake, Ryan quickly adjusted his posture, remembering he was supposed to act like a woman. Shortly after, Ryan encountered Marcus, who was chatting with a friend also applying for the job. Marcus thought Jamie's face looked familiar but could not quite place it. Sensing danger, Ryan excused himself and pretended to go to the restroom. During the interview, Ryan was nervous, afraid his true identity would be discovered. To cover up gaps in his fabricated flight history, he claimed experience flying on a remote, unknown island. To convince Diana, he even sang the national anthem of a small Pacific island, adding that he, like Sophie, had no desire to marry or have children. After completing a series of flight tests, Ryan, under the alias Jamie, was hired as a pilot at Han Airlines. At the welcome dinner for new pilots, Marcus once again crossed paths with Ryan. He could not shake the feeling that Jamie's face seemed familiar. During the event, a senior pilot began ranting about Ryan's past scandal, arguing that his career's downfall was unfair since he had merely complimented attractive flight attendants. However, Sophie, who was also present, disagreed, stating that flight attendants did not deserve to be objectified for their looks. To ease the tension, Ryan joined the group in singing and lightheartedly enjoyed the evening. The next day, Ryan, under Jamie's persona, flew his first flight under the supervision of Captain Marcus. During the flight, Marcus noticed Jamie's slightly deep masculine voice but found it fitting for a pilot, praising its clarity and even calling it sexy. Throughout the flight, Marcus teased Ryan, likening himself to a dragon and calling Ryan a puppy. However, Ryan retorted that if anyone resembled a puppy, it was Marcus, as he could not stop talking. Unexpectedly, Marcus casually shared stories about Ryan, his brilliant senior. He praised Ryan's exceptional flying skills, which he had already mastered during school. However, Marcus described Ryan as hypocritical and overly rational. It did not take long for Ryan to realize that the hypocrite Marcus referred to was actually himself. Meanwhile, while waiting for his next flight, Ryan noticed a happy family, which contrasted sharply with his own broken marriage and irreparable home life. Memories of his failed marriage resurfaced, reminding him that his wife did not ask for a divorce because of his job loss, but because it was time for him to understand what it felt like to be neglected. During the peak of his career, Ryan had been consumed by his selfishness. He never knew that his son Leo dreamed of becoming a ballerina. He did not know his wife had undergone stomach cancer surgery, nor did he remember his in-law's birthday. His wife was convinced that Ryan did not even know his own mother's age. In the end, all she wanted was attention and a happy family. As Ryan silently contemplated, Sophie approached, mistaking his sadness for embarrassment over a rumor circulating in the aviation community that Ryan had called Marcus a puppy earlier. To cheer him up, Sophie invited him to go shopping and hang out. During their outing, Ryan and Sophie enjoyed delicious food and attended a ladies' night at a nightclub. At one point, Ryan opened up about his family. He shared how, as the eldest child of a single mother, he felt responsible for supporting his family and his younger sibling. As they grew closer, Ryan, despite being a man, began developing feelings for Sophie. However, an unexpected sound from the tape securing his disguise under his skirt startled him. Panicked, he hurriedly hid in the bushes to avoid suspicion. Over time, Ryan's feelings for Sophie deepened. Curious, he asked about her ideal type, to which Sophie firmly replied that she disliked liars. Her words made Ryan decide to confess the truth to her after their next flight to Hawaii. During the flight to Hawaii, Ryan under Jamie's persona was paired with Marcus again. This time, Marcus boldly confessed his feelings for Ryan, revealing that he had blocked his number but could not move on. He then accused Ryan of being the one to seduce him first, mentioning moments like showing off his thighs during the interview and the way he glanced while drinking. As Marcus was mid-confession, their plane encountered a serious problem, a mechanical failure in the middle of a storm. With the engines malfunctioning, the two pilots were faced with the critical task of saving the passengers, no matter what it took. As the situation grew critical, Marcus tried to calm Jamie, unaware that she was actually Ryan in disguise. In reality, Marcus was panicking himself. At one point, Ryan asked Marcus to let him take control of the plane, but Marcus refused. Even as the aircraft began a rapid descent, frustrated Ryan lost his temper and inadvertently spoke in his natural male voice. It was at that moment that Marcus realized the truth, that the woman he had feelings for was actually his senior, Ryan. The scene fast forwards to Ryan waking up in a hospital bed. As the doctor approached to check on him, Ryan immediately got up and fled. However, as soon as he stepped outside, he was swarmed by reporters who hailed him as a hero. Due to Marcus's trauma and subsequent memory loss, the role of captain was transferred to Ryan. Not only that, news of the heroic actions of a female pilot saving a flight spread across the country, turning Ryan and his persona as Jamie into a national sensation. Fame quickly embraced Ryan under the name Jamie. He appeared in numerous popular magazines and took on advertising gigs. In no time, his life regained its former brilliance, but now under the guise of Jamie. His face became the new mascot for the airline. One day, Diana invited Ryan and Sophie to dinner. At that moment, Diana proudly declared that her company now had two exceptional female pilots who had accomplished great feats, one saving passengers, the other advocating for female workers. However, Ryan was puzzled by the mention of saving female workers. Diana then revealed that the scandal involving Ryan's inappropriate comments about flight attendants had been secretly recorded by Sophie, who was present at the time, and later leaked. Sophie was visibly upset that the CEO had brought this up, as she had hoped to bury this secret forever. On their way home, Sophie asked Ryan not to trust their CEO entirely. However, Ryan felt deeply betrayed. He confronted Sophie, asking if she had ever considered the consequences for the pilot involved in the scandal. At that moment, Ryan revealed that the fallout had cost him his marriage, custody of his child, and his career. With bitterness and disappointment, Ryan, still in his disguise as Jamie, walked away, leaving Sophie in silence. Sometime later, Ryan is seen spending some quality time with his son Leo while on leave from flying. His peaceful day is interrupted by a message from Sophie, who informs him she wants to visit his house. Alarmed, Ryan rushes home and changes into his Jamie persona just in time. When Sophie arrives, She explains that she is visiting because she felt that Jamie was upset with her after their previous conversation. Suddenly, Ryan's mother arrives and panic sets in. Ryan fears being exposed, but his mother only asks for a photo with Jamie, unaware that it is her own son in disguise. She is thrilled to learn that a celebrity like Jamie is staying in their neighborhood. Thankfully, Jenny steps in, explaining that the pilot is simply renting a room in their home since their mother is off and away traveling. The situation becomes more complicated when Ryan's mother insists on calling her son. As luck would have it, Ryan's phone rings in his pocket. Quickly turning it off, Ryan pretends it was a wrong call. That same day, his mother throws a grand birthday party, inviting Sophie and the famous pilot Jamie. Forced to attend as his other persona, Ryan dresses up as a woman for his own mother's celebration. Throughout the party, his mother eagerly awaits the arrival of her son. This prompts Ryan to make quick costume changes, alternating between Jamie and himself. However, chaos ensues when his wallet falls, revealing Jamie's ID. At the same time, Sophie sees it and suspicion mounts. Meanwhile, rumors spread at the airline that Sophie has resigned after being exposed for leaking the recording of Ryan's scandal. Knowing this, Ryan tries to stop her from leaving, but Sophie remains silent. She then asks if Ryan has anything to tell her, referencing his unfulfilled promise to share something after their Hawaii flight. Ryan, still posing as Jamie, denies having anything to say. Disappointed, Sophie decides to leave, reiterating her disdain for dishonesty. On the other hand, Diana holds a meeting discussing the surge in customer interest after Jamie had become the airline's mascot. Shortly after, Ryan confronts Diana, urging her to reject Sophie's resignation. Diana refuses, revealing that rival airlines have published an exposé claiming that the celebrated female pilot who saved the Hawaii flight is actually a man. Apparently, a leaked recording from the Hawaii flight captured Jamie's male voice during the emergency, forcing Diana to make a difficult decision. Diana explains that she has known all along that Ryan and Jamie were the same person. She understood that Ryan had disguised himself to save his career and income. However, the airline cannot afford another scandal, and Jamie's identity has become an integral part of their brand. Reluctantly, Diana chooses to shift the blame onto Sophie to protect both the airline and the secret. Diana then offered Ryan the chance to continue working as Jamie for another year, after which she promised to reinstate him as a pilot without requiring the female disguise. However, Ryan refused to sacrifice his friend for his own benefit. He no longer wanted to be selfish as he had been in the past. Sometime later, during the opening ceremony of a new airline founded by Diana, Ryan, under his persona as Jamie, was invited to the stage as a newly appointed senior pilot to deliver a speech. Standing under the spotlight, Ryan made a shocking revelation. He confessed that he had been living a lie. Jamie, the famous pilot, was actually a man named Ryan, a pilot who had previously been dismissed due to a scandal. Desperate for work, he had disguised himself as a female pilot. With sincerity, Ryan apologized to the flight attendants present at the party for the hurtful words he had said, admitting that he had not realized the pain his comments caused. Many reporters and attendees were skeptical of his claim, as Ryan still looked like Jamie in his wig and attire. To prove his point, Ryan removed his wig and prosthetics, revealing his muscular physique and confirming his identity as a man. He then apologized to Sophie, admitting how deeply he regretted deceiving her. In the end, Ryan immediately set out to find her, eager to make amends in person. In the lobby, Ryan encountered Sophie, who slapped him on both cheeks. She told him that while she had forgiven him as Ryan, she could not reconcile her feelings about Jamie. To bring closure, Ryan softened his voice and spoke as Jamie, apologizing directly to Sophie. In the aftermath, Ryan became infamous, gaining media attention for the scandal. His pilot license was revoked, but the public noted that he still seemed to be doing well despite his controversial actions. Many credited Ryan for saving hundreds of lives during the Hawaii flight. Though their paths rarely crossed, Ryan and Sophie occasionally ran into each other, exchanging brief but meaningful glances. Ryan moved on to a new chapter, working as an instructor at Air Park Academy, a flight training center. Although his career as a pilot had ended, Ryan continued to live by his personal motto, to fly well wherever you are.